Hi, this is Sabrina with Sabrina's Crafty Home Decor. I started a project here and realized that my phone did not start recording like I thought, but I took a foam brush and some Waverly Cashew chalk paint and dabbed paint all over this metal milk jug that I picked up at Goodwill. Then I dried it with my heat tool, and then I picked a napkin and I tore the two back layers off the napkin, leaving just the thin top layer. And I tore two images from the napkin and I tear them. I do not cut them because when you cut them, it leaves straight lines that show up on your project. And I don't like that. So I prefer to tear them because it blends into your project so much better, and half the time you can't see the lines. I used a thin layer of Mod Podge, and I used my fan brush and painted a thin layer of the Mod Podge on the painted jug and placed my napkin on both sides of the jug, and then put another thin layer of Mod Podge over the napkin. Now I'm using my heat tool to dry it. I think I may have sped this video up a little bit too fast. And the napkin I picked up at decopodgenapkins.com. And now I'm taking antique wax, dark wax from Behr. I picked it up at either Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm not sure which. I want to say Lowe's. And I am lightly brushing it all over the image as well as the jug. It's just going to grunge it up a little and give it a more aged look. And then I am going to take a wipe and wipe it down in areas where it went on a little thicker than I wanted, and help just kind of blend it in better. And now I'm taking Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel and ground cinnamon to create rust. So I'm using a small sponge and I'm dabbing the paint on the top edge and the bottom edge, and then rolling it in the cinnamon, and then using the sponge to dab the cinnamon. Just you're kind of pushing it into the wet paint to make it stick. And then I put a little on the handles, and here I'm just finding places where I think it could use a little rust spot, and again I'm dabbing it into the paint and then sprinkling cinnamon on it, and either dabbing the cinnamon into the paint with my finger or using the same foam brush. You're just kind of pushing it into that wet paint. And then I blow off the excess as I go. And now I'm cutting the foam to start creating my bouquet. But I was multitasking here, and excuse the position change of the camera. The dog knocked over my phone stand, so I had to move it. Hence the position change. So had two of my grandbabies here. I was babysitting, and I was also watching another Crafters live while I was doing this. So I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have to my own craft, and I needed to have put something inside of that jug, like I prefer rolled up cardboard. I just cut a piece of cardboard down to the right height, and then I roll it up and stick it inside the jug, and then it just kind of opens up, and then I glue my foam in. That way, as I push the flowers through the foam, it doesn't push the foam all the way into the jug, which is what happened here. I forgot that step, and as I started to put those flowers in, the foam fell through, so I had to stop the camera, and take it all apart and pull it out. And but I'm working with a thick piece of foam here, so it worked really well just to create my bouquet outside of the jug and just use the foam itself. So most of these flowers I think I got from Temu. I do prefer their flowers. They're cheaper usually, as well as much higher quality. Most of my crafts are rustic or farmhouse or shabby chic, and their flowers are just perfect for those types of designs. And I think there might be a couple things there I may have gotten from DT, Dollar Tree, as well as Walmart. But those roses and sunflowers I know came from Temu. So I'm just using my wire cutters to cut the lengths that I need for the floral as I stab them into place. And now I'm going to hot glue my foam again. So I'm adding hot glue to the top, just to give it a little more security, make it a little sturdier. One of my flowers came off, so I'm repositioning that. And then I'm going to take some more moss and put that on top of the hot glue that's still wet, just to make sure that I have good coverage, and none of the foam can be seen. And then I am trimming off the excess runaway moss. And here is our finished product. Now I did tear my napkin on the other side of this, and so I just covered the tear. Like I said, they're really thin once you take those back 2 layers off, and so you have to be careful. And but I just used the cinnamon and created a rust spot where that tear was, so nobody will ever know. Well, except for you, because I just told you. But here's our craft, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.